dead. It's just, it's dead, you know. Rock music is fucking dead. Following Screamadelica, we followed Screamadelica by going to Memphis and making a record, making a rock record with Tom Dowd producing. So it was, you know, it was completely different from the Screamadelica record. Give Out, But Don't Give Up was completely different from the Screamadelica record. Screamadelica was very, very well received. It was the only first time that we'd ever had a record that people loved unanimously, and you know, universal praise. And we sold a lot of copies of that record very quickly, and we toured. Same thing, big audiences. One thing we didn't want to do was try and make Screamadelica Part 2, and so we didn't. Andrew Weatherall, our producer, he'd got more and more into hard techno, kind of hard, unemotional techno, tracks lasting 12, 15 minutes, and lots of metallic noises. And I think we were going towards something more emotional, organic, and human. And so that's how we followed up Screamadelica with Give It But Don't Give Up. Biggest fear, getting fat or losing hair. I'm alright, I think. I'm not getting fat and I'm not losing my hair, so I'm alright. I don't think it'd be very good for me. Yeah, biggest fear, Glasgow Rangers winning the Champions League. No chance of that. Rock versus dance music. Well, I always thought rock was dance. I always thought rock and roll was dance music, like Chuck Berry, Dr. Feelgood, The Stones, Iggy and the Stooges. Real rock and roll, you know, it's like the best rock and roll is blues based. It's coming from, you know, the musicians had, although they might have been white, suburban, teenage punks, they were listening to a lot of black music, whether it was James Brown or Howlin' Wolf, and they kind of distilled it into their own style, like the Stooges or the Rolling Stones, and they made music that you can dance to, and that, to me, that's rock and roll. If you can't dance to it, it's not rock and roll, it's rock music, and I'm not interested in rock music.
Cry, cry, cry. I'm gonna cry myself blind.
Skip, Spence, or Iggy Pop. Well, I can't really make a choice between these two heroes. I love Iggy and I love Skip. They're very different in their approach, but they both made records that are eternal classics. Interesting as well, I mean, Iggy was a drummer, as we know, but Stooges music, you can always dance to it. It's always coming from a rhythmic base. I think Iggy writes songs in a rhythmic way. It's never about the melody, it was always about the rhythm, you know. And Skip only had to make that one album, or I still think he could. You're asking about following Screamadelica. He couldn't have followed or. He said everything that he needed to say. It's absolutely perfect, you know. Skip, Spence, or Iggy. Iggy, Spence, Skip, Pop.
Children are singing, blues that they're bringing, freedom is ringing,
One pill makes you larger, okay. Jefferson Airplane, White Rabbit. So I actually have been listening to a lot of Jefferson Airplane recently. I love Grace Slick. I think they're such an amazing band. But I think you want me to talk about this, the drugs. I met this guy, Quentin Clonch, when I was in Memphis, and he released the original version of Dark End of the Street, which was recorded by James Carr, and it was on Gold Wax Records, the Gold Wax label. And I asked him how the song was written, and he told us that he'd been at a songwriters convention or a music biz convention, and he met Dan Penn and Chips Moman. And Chips Moman is the guy who produced Suspicious Minds and In the Ghetto for Elvis. And he said he's basically said to them, listen guys, I need a song for they were songwriters together, I need a song for James Carr. And they went up to the hotel room, took some speed, came back an hour later and said, there's a song for James Carr, and they get Dark End of the Street. So in Memphis they have this saying, behind every great song there's a great pill. And I think, I love that, you know, I especially I love that, you know, it's kind of true. And the Screamadelica album, the great pill behind that album, that great album, was Ecstasy. So, and the great, you know, the drug behind Nevermind the Bollocks and the first Clash album was Amphetamine Sulfate.
At the dark end of the street.
Drug behind Jefferson Airplane, Syd Barrett's Pink Floyd, and Arthur Lee's Love was LSD. So, and then the drug behind the Sun Sessions, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, Sam Phillips was amphetamine. They were speed freaks. So, yeah. Drugs and rock and roll made for each other.
It's awfully considerate of you to think of me here, and I'm most obliged to you for making it clear that I'm not here.
Punk rock, yesterday or today. Well, I think I'm too old to say what it means these days. You know, because I think that garage rock is, you know, like 4 or 5 kids getting together, buying cheap guitars, cheap amps, starting a garage band, playing, you know, rock and roll, 3-chord high energy rock. I think it's a democratic art form, and I think it's always going to be a valid form of expression for people. So I think that's cool. You know, whether it has any validity in modern culture, I don't, you know, whether it has, I don't think so, I'm not sure. You know, I don't really think that rock music has the cultural gravitas that it had in the 60s and maybe the 70s.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small, and the ones that...
Scottish or British? Good question. It's a very good question, and it's a very hard question to answer. I would say that what shaped me was British and American pop culture. But I think I grew up in Glasgow. I'm very Glaswegian. I think politically I'm very Scottish, because Scotland's a left-wing country. I think England is a conservative right-wing country. My epitaph, last words of a Primal Screamer, scream on. Carry on screaming. Right. Carry on screaming.